What's up, Wayne Barron here with my vlog, and today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. Today we're going to be talking about unsolicited phone calls. Around November 2022, I was talking to my son over the phone when he had questioned me if I was going to allow Facebook members to be able to sign up on my websites using their Facebook like all other websites do, and I told him, I said, no. I said, I'm not going to do that. My websites are going to be totally separate from any other online social media website. And then it was at that moment I was like, hold it. And he was like, you just thought about something. I said, yes, I did. I think I just found out or figured out how to stop unsolicited phone calls. He said, you're kidding. I was like, no. I said, honestly, I think I did. He said, you want me to let you go? I said, no. So he sat on the phone with me and I opened up Microsoft Word and I started typing out all the information that I had. And then I read it off to my son. He was like, that sounds like that would work. So over the next couple of months, so this was November 2022. So from November, December, January, I kept on tweaking it, working on it here and there. And then the beginning of February the 6th to be exact, I went down to the post office and I mailed it off to the FCC. I did not know or have a specific person in mind to send it to, so I just sent it to the FCC. So on February the 9th of 2023, I received an email from the FCC letting me know that they had received my package. And attached to the email was scanned copies of all of the documents, including a scanned copy of the envelope itself. That was it. No other correspondence with them at all. So fast forward about 3 or 4 months later, and I contacted the FCC again, and I spoke with the only people that you're allowed to speak with the FCC, and that is the consumer area that deals with people that receive unsolicited phone calls. And so I spoke with a woman there who I have to say was very rude. She was just, I don't even know how to explain it. After I told her that I had sent the letter to the FCC, that I knew how to stop unsolicited phone calls, that I had sent this information to the FCC back in February. And the first response out of her mouth was, well, how do you know they haven't already thought of that? And I was like, because if they had thought of it, then they would have implemented it and people wouldn't be losing their money right now. So she's like, well, she said, I don't know what to tell you. She was like, I was like, well, can I talk to your supervisor? She says, no. She said, this isn't your phone company. She said, you can't just talk to our supervisor. Our business doesn't work like that. I was like, well, can you? I kept my side of it as professional as possible. I was like, well, can you please pass this along to whoever and let them know? And she says, I'll see what I can do. You have a good day. And that was it. Several months later, so this would have been right after the summer. So ending of summer, beginning of fall, somewhere around there. The FCC again. This time I spoke with a woman that was very kind, really sweet. And I explained it to her. Well, when I explained to her that I had sent this information to FCC back in February, and she got emotional. She actually got emotional. Well, the reason why she got emotional was that her mother had been scammed out of half of her life savings. But luckily for her mother, she contacted her daughter after losing this money, and her daughter was like, Mama, I think you've been scammed. Well, between her and her mama, they was able to get a hold of the bank, explain everything to the bank, and the bank refunded every bit of the woman's money, however much it was. So that woman told me, she was like, Mr. Barron, since you're not getting anywhere with the FCC, she's like, why don't you try the FTC? She said, I don't know who you would need to contact over there. She was like, but they also deal with this same situation. Probably about maybe 2 weeks later, my son passed away in an accident. And so that put everything on hold. So he passed away October 12th of 23. And so mid-November 23, I sent this information off to the FTC. And I sent it off to Miss Han, H-K-A-K-H-A-N, or HKAN or something like that. I can't remember, but I don't even know if she's still the head person over there or not. But that's who I sent the mail to, was specifically to her. Didn't receive anything. They received it. They picked it up from the post office because I had tracking on it, and it was picked up at the post office from somebody with the FTC. And so I know that they got it. It's just that I didn't receive a response. See, the FCC, they sent me a response. So credit to the FCC for that. At least they send you out a response. If you provide your email, they'll send you out an email response whenever they receive your package or your letter. But the FTC won't do that, it seems. So that was November that I sent that off. So that would have been November 23, and April of 24, I went on and I found a list of people that were under the con or Han woman. And so I chose one of them, and which had their phone numbers. It had their picture and had their phone numbers. So I called and I left about a 2-minute message explaining the situation. And about 4 or 5 days later, I took my mother to Bojangles for lunch. Well, I took her to a doctor's appointment, then took her to Bojangles for lunch. And then as I was getting her into the truck, my phone rang. I looked at my phone and it showed FTC. I was like, oh crap. And so I immediately hit the button on my headset, and I spoke with the woman. Well, the conversation with this woman, she was sweet. She was really nice. She was a young woman. I'd say she was in her, she was either in her late teens or early 20s. I'm wanting to say she's an intern, and the only job that she had was making phone calls every day. And so that was what she did. She happened to pick up and make the phone call to me. And she told me, she says, I am responding to your phone call to Mr. So-and-so. So me and her spoke for maybe about 3 minutes, and she was honest with me. And she told me, she said, Mr. Barron, she says, I'm going to be 100% upfront with you. She says, I can take your email and your phone number, but you're not going to get a response from them. And I was like, you're kidding. Even though I told you, and I left a message with him saying that I know how to stop this. I believe what I've got will stop unsolicited phone calls. And she says, I am so sorry. The woman apologized to me. The young woman apologized to me probably about maybe 4 or 5 times within that 3-minute time frame. So that lets you know that this girl's gotten used to telling people, you're not going to get a response from the FTC, which is wrong in so many ways. So then I let her know that I wasn't upset with her. She's just doing her job. It's not her responsibility. But she told me, she says, I will pass on your inquiries to him. I got off the phone. I'm thinking to myself, why does she got to pass it on to him whenever he's already got it? Because he's the one that listened to the message. Or did he listen to the message? Or was it his secretary that listened to the message and then gave it to the intern? That was pretty much it with the FTC. I didn't mess with it no more. So then I contacted the only person I knew to contact, and that was my phone company, which is Windstream by Kinetic, or Kinetic by Windstream, whatever they're called today. So I contacted them, and or I sent an email to them, and then they had, which was really cool, they had somebody from that specific department give me a call. The woman was really nice. We spoke for about half an hour. And so she told me, she was like, we are not who you need to talk to. She said, if you got that information, she said, do not send it to us because we can't do nothing with it. And I was like, I need to contact the FCC. She said, you need to contact the FCC. I was like, how? She was like, well, let me help you. So she went on and she found a list of some of the head people at the FCC. So she gave me, or she sent me an email after we got off the phone with that list. And one of the people on that list was a gentleman by the name of Brendan Carr. When I saw his name, it really struck me. And the reason why it struck me was because his last name is the same as my son's name. So seeing my son's name at the end of this man's name, it bothered me. And so I literally closed out the page and I stepped away, and I didn't mess with it for a couple of days because it really affected me. It emotionally affected me because my son's name is Carr, and he's named after Eric Carr from Kiss. So then about maybe 4 days later, I went into the office. I was taking a deep breath, brought open the information and copied his email address, and then opened up Gmail and created a new message. And then I sent him everything. I sent him all the updated information because I originally started writing this in November 2022. So when I sent it to him was October 24th, I think it was, of 2024. So almost 2 years had passed. A month away from being 2 years since I came up with the technology. So I sent him everything. No response. Fast forward January, he became chairman of the FCC. I didn't know it at that time. I think it was February of 2025 that I found out that he was the chairman by watching a video on YouTube of him in front of Congress. And he was talking about how Elon Musk had tried to get something done and it was shut down by the Biden administration. And so that was how I found out that he was the chairman, because I saw his name. I was like, oh crap, that's the guy that I sent the email to. So I typed out his name right quick inside of Google and found out that he was the newly nominated chairman of the FCC under the Trump presidency. And so then I sent him back out another email, and then another email, and no response. So I've sent him 3 emails so far. So then I went on to, mustaches aggravate me. So then I went on and I did a search on Google for him again, and I found his X account. So I had to verify my X account, and then, which took about a week to verify. So once it was verified, I was able to contact FCC Chairman Brendan Carr. And I keep on looking down the honest book, sorry about that. I contacted him through X, and no response. It hasn't even been read. All of the information, everything that I'm talking about is going to be all listed on one of these sides over here, whichever side I put the video over here on. I have all the dates and everything over yonder, just not the actual emails that I've sent to these people. But no response from them. So then I went on to Brendan Carr's chairman page on the FCC, and then I went on to his staff. So I could only find one person in the staff that I was able to find a contact information that I didn't have to pay for through LinkedIn. And so I contacted this specific person. I'm not going to say his name. I don't want no hate sent to nobody, but I sent this guy, and I specifically stated that I know how to stop unsolicited phone calls, and which includes scam calls. And so his response to that was to tell me to contact the media inquiries, or whatever the heck it's called, over at fcc.gov. So I responded back to him with receipts. Listed every single time that I've contacted the FCC. All the dates, all of the file numbers that they gave, which they gave a file number on the physical mail that I sent to them, and then they gave a file number on the fax that I sent to them. And nothing. No response from them whatsoever after that. Perfectly honest with you. If I was working for Brendan Carr and somebody contacted me and says, listen, I know how to stop unsolicited phone calls. Is there any way that you can get this information to Brendan Carr so that he can get in contact with me? My first message to him would be, thank you for contacting me. have you tried sending this information to the FCC? I would, and then the person would respond with all his receipts like what I did. Then I would say, okay, let me get back with you. I'm going to present this to Brendan Carr the next time I see him, and I'll let you know what he says. That would be my response. That's how you do business. That's professionalism. This guy did not do it in a professional manner at all, period. Like I said, I'm not going to show his name. I don't do that. There's no hate going out of my channel to nobody. So then I turned around. I was like, okay, if I can't get anything done through the people that work for Brendan Carr, maybe I can contact the White House, which is like throwing a pebble inside of an ocean. Because when you contact the White House, if you send an email to them, then it's going to get dumped inside of their email, their inbox, with hundreds or thousands of other emails that came in that day. And you're going to receive a response, because if you go to the contact page, you're going to receive a response which is an electronic response that says your message has been received. That doesn't mean somebody has read it. That just means that it has been received. So, and I also sent, I was able to find a fax number, which is only for the media. So I sent a fax to that, and still nothing. Now, there's going to be people that's going to be watching this, and they're going to be, yeah, look who you're dealing with. You're dealing with the Trump administration. They're not going to do anything. Keep in mind one thing. When I sent information back in 2023, who was the president? Whenever I contacted the FCC, them 2 times by phone, who was the president? And so, even though the second phone call was a very kind woman, the fact of the matter is that, yeah, the first year and several months was under the Biden administration whenever I contacted them, and they did nothing. Even when I contacted the FTC, that was still under the Biden administration, and still nothing. So now I'm reaching out to the Trump administration. So if anybody in the government that can get a hold of Brendan Carr, let him know that he can, down bottom, I will have a link to my X account, and he can go to my X account and he can click on the message to message me. And when he does that, it'll bring open my contact with him, which has got my email address and my phone number, and just a message to him. I'll also have a link to my contact page so you can actually contact about this. It's as simple as this. It needs to stop. These scammers are getting more and more creative. I watched a video the other day with this woman, and I also spoke with a woman over the phone back in 2024. Well, they both had the same story, so it's the same story. They get a phone call from their sister, and when they answer the phone, it's somebody from another country. Okay, so the first person I spoke with, which was in 2024, her story was that they were calling, it was an IRS scam that was that had spoofed the sister's phone number. The video that I watched the other day, that one was totally different. That was a woman who answered the phone, and it showed her sister calling her. And when she answered the phone, it was somebody saying, we have your sister and we're holding her for hostage, and you need to pay us so much money to get her back. And she knew nothing was wrong with her sister because her sister had just left her house. So she immediately hung up on them. Then you got the sheriff department in Sanford, North Carolina, which is the town over from where I live at. They released a statement on their Facebook page in 2024 stating that if the sheriff officer, if the sheriff office calls you and says that you need to pay them so much money on a bond or something like that, or you owe court costs, don't pay it. It's a scam. So Sanford, North Carolina residents were receiving these scams from the sheriff's department. And so the same thing happened to this woman who lost her life, an Uber driver. She was unalived because of a scam. This man received a phone call one morning, and it was from his local police department, which wasn't, it was a scam, saying that he owes this money for something. And so he kept on hanging up on them. They kept on calling him back and saying, you either pay or you're going to be arrested. We're going to send somebody to your house to pick up this money. So this scammer uses Uber to send Uber over to his house to pick up a package. Well, when the woman gets there, the man comes outside with a gun. And you can see it on the video. As she's walking around pleading for her life, all of a sudden you hear click, click, click. And so this woman lost her life due to a scam. So this needs to be stopped, and I believe the information that I have will stop it. So to Brendan Carr, if you see this, please get in contact with me so we can get this taken care of, so we can get it done. I saw where you had posted to somebody's message on X that showed all of the scam calls that this person had gotten in a day, and you said we're working on it. Well, let's work on it. Let's get this taken care of. So Brendan Carr, please get in contact with me. And like I said, you can go down bottom, you can click on the X account link, and then you can go on to my X profile and click on message, and it'll bring up the message, and you have my contact information there. Or just simply click on the link down below and go onto my contact page and send me an email with a good number to contact you, because the number that is on the downloadable PDF file for your office rings, 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 and rings, and nobody answers. So there's either something wrong with that, or you just need to get another number, because that one clearly does not work. But anyway, I am Wayne Barron for my vlog. Please contact me, Brendan Carr. Let's get this taken care of. Let's get it done now. It needs to get done now. And no hate to the Trump presidency. Keep in mind, the Biden administration was who was in office when I first contacted the FCC. So they didn't do nothing then. So let's see if we can get something done now. Y'all have a good one now. Bye-bye.